Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Jamuna Tiravanachari. Jamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nachiye. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astatorishata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Charna Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astatorishata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Mar Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Namacharya Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. Shri Shri Gauranitai Ki Jai. Shri Shri Krishna Balaram Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri 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 Guru and Shri Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nasta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Tamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Chapter 17, chapters entitled The Divisions of Faith, text number 25. Tad ityabhisandhāya Tad anabhisandhāya Phalam yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ Phalaṁ yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ tad anabhisandhāya phalaṁ yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ tad anabhisandhāya phalaṁ yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ. Please chant. Tadityanubhisandhāya phalam yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ tadānādvidasāya phalam yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ tadintyāvisandhāya phalam yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ. Vaishnavis, tadityanubhisandhāya phalam yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ. Anabhisandhāya phalam yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ. Tat that. Everyone understands English? Yes? No? Sabhi log Inglesi samajhte? Everyone understands? Yes? Okay, good. Iti, thus, anabhisandhāya, without desiring. Phalam, the fruit of result. Yajna, of sacrifice. Tapaha, and penance. Kriyāḥ, activities. Dāna, of charity. Kriyāḥ, activities. Cha, also. Vividhāḥ, various. Kriyante, are done. Mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ, by those who actually desire liberation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Bhai-Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Please repeat after me. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material entanglement. Purport. To be elevated to the spiritual position, one should not act for any material gain. Acts should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back to home, back to Godhead. Tad anabhisandhāya phalam yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ dāna-kriyāś vividhāḥ kriyante mokṣa-kāṅkṣibhiḥ. Om ajñāna-tirmandasya jnananjana-shalakaya chakshur-unmilitam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya manobhishtam shtapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kadamayam dadati svapadantikam vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So thank you all for coming today here to Krishna Balaram Hall, here in Sri Vrindavan Dham. I'd just like to ask the sound system devotee, Haribol, bass to our Kam Karenge. Bass. Please reduce the bass if you can. Yeah, it's here. Bass should, yeah, that's good. Check, 2, 1, 2. Thank you so much. So today we're reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17. And the chapter is entitled, The Divisions of Faith. What is the chapter called? The Divisions of Faith. Yes. And today we're reading text number 25. So we're coming towards the end of the chapter. The chapter goes to text 28. And today we're on text number 25. So getting there. Almost finished with the chapter. So this chapter, chapter 17, speaks about different divisions of faith and the 3 modes of material nature. So earlier we heard about the faith in the 3 modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, as well as food in the 3 modes. And we talked about sacrifices in the 3 modes, austerities in the 3 modes, and charity in the 3 modes of material nature. So this was a discussion, and now today we're reading text number 25, but in text number 23 we started a new topic, and that topic was Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat, thanks a lot, right? So it is said that transcendentalists, they begin any topic for self-realization, any topic for overcoming the material nature by chanting Om Tat Sat. I remember hearing from Jayapataka Swami Maharaj when he gives the Bhagavatam class, before he starts he'll say Om Tat Sat. So this, before beginning any activity, we can chant Om Tat Sat. Or we can chant that very special mantra that we all know and love, that is fulfilling the activities of all mantras. And that mantra is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in the 23rd chapter was explained Om Tat Sat. And Om Tat Sat represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is very wonderful. And in the 24th shloka, which we read yesterday, shloka number 24, we heard about the meaning of Om. Om, right? And Om is the impersonal representation of the absolute truth. I first heard about Om when I was a college student at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. And I had a friend who was coming from Australia, but he lived in India for 2.5 years in Benares studying the tabla. So like this he would practice all night long in Benares. And sometimes the gorillas would come in to watch him practice. So he got involved with some impersonalists there, and they taught him to chant Om. So he came to Boston. He needed a place to stay, and he said, if you let me stay with you, I'll teach you Indian music. So I said, sounds like a good idea. Please come. And every day we would sing together. And we formed a band together. And the name of our band was the Om Band. So that was my first contact with the word Om. Few years later, I was walking through JFK Airport in New York, John F. Kennedy Airport. and I met a very charming young man in a suit and tie carrying some books under his arm. And he said to me, "Oh, you look like a musician." I had my guitar, I had my trumpet, I had my long hair. And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Do you play in a band?" I said, "Yes." He said, "What is the name of your band?" Anyone remember the name of my band? The Om Band. So I said it was the Om Band. He said, "Do you know what Om means?" I said, "No." He said, "Would you like to know?" I said, "Yes." So he took one of the books. It was Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. And he looked in the index and he found the word Om. So many references. And he began to read to me different sections of the book. And we could understand that Om means the impersonal representation of the supreme absolute truth. So I was very enchanted by the whole exchange. He said, "Would you like to keep the book?" I said, "Yes." I said, "Can I give you a donation?" He said, "Yes." So I gave him $3. 1 year later, I was shaved up in the Brooklyn Temple, having breakfast. Another brahmachari was sitting next to me. It was the same devotee. I said, "Do you remember me?" He said, "No." I said, "You gave me a book, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1. I gave you $3. He said, "That's a $5 book. You owe me $2. So this was my first acquaintance with the word Om, which means the supreme absolute truth, impersonal representation. So in today's verse, we're hearing about the word Tat, Om Tat Sat. So Tat, Prabhupada explains in the Purport today that Tat is always used. Oh, in the verse, it says Tat, that iti thus, anabhisandhāya, without desiring phalam. Phalam means fruits, without desiring fruits. So one should chant Tat, means I want to do some devotional service, some spiritual activity, without desiring any phal, without desiring any fruits. So there's a nice verse in Bhagavad Gita that also describes this. Antavat, no, that's a different one. Which was the one I selected? Right. Karmani eva dikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachana, ma karma phala heturbor, na te sangam stvakarmani. Karmani eva dikaraste. We have a right to do our duty. Can we do our duty? Yes, we have a right. Karmani eva dikaraste. Ma phaleshu kadachana. But ma means not. Phaleshu means phal or fruits. Kadachana. We don't have a right to the fruits. Makarma phala hetur bor. We are not the hetu, the cause of the fruits coming. Mafalo hetur bor, not te sangos to harmony. And we should never be attached to not doing our duty. It's just like if you work in a bank and someone comes and you're the cashier and they come with $1,000 and they give you the cash. Here, take it. Now, it's not that you can put the $1,000 cash in your pocket and take it home. You work for the bank. The money should go to the bank. Therefore, we as devotees of Krishna, whatever fruits are coming from our activities, they're not for ourselves. They're not for our own sense enjoyment. Those fruits are meant for who? They're meant for Krishna. So whatever, yat karosi yat asnasi yat jahosi dadasi yat tapassasi satyam te pratijani priyosi me. Whatever you do, whatever you eat or offer or give away, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me, Krishna says. So everything that we do is for Krishna. Let's say someone finds a wallet lying in the street. There are 3 choices. Choice number 1, take the money and run. Choice number 2, leave the wallet there. Someone will come and find it. Choice number 3, open the wallet, look at the identification, and return it to the right person. Which is the best? Choice number 1, choice number 2, choice number 3. Who says number 1 is best? Who says number 2 is best? Who says number 3 is best? Who's asleep? Okay, very good. Number 3 is the best, because we should return whatever is there to the rightful person. So, Ishavasya idam sarvam yatkincha jagacham jagyat chena chakchena bunjata magridha kasyasvid dhanam. Everything in this world, moving, non-moving, it belongs to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So whatever fruits we get, we should just say, Tat, this is for Krishna, this is not for me. So this is a very important point. And we hear in today's verse that 3 things, they should be given up to Krishna. Sacrifice, yajña, is mentioned in today's verse. Phalam, yajña-tapaḥ-kriyāḥ. Yajña means sacrifice. So the results of sacrifice should be given to Krishna. And tapaḥ. Tapaḥ means austerities or penances. Tapaḥ-kriyāḥ. Kriyāḥ means to do. Do some austerity, give that to Krishna. And charity, dāna-kriyāś, to do charity, to give charity. So it's interesting to note that within the scope, the sphere of the Harinam Sankirtan movement, all 3 of these items, yajña, tapa, and dana, can be considered in conjunction with the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. As Ayendra Prabhu used to say, Hare Rama, Mama, right? Okay, Hare Rama, Mama. So sacrifice is yajña. So there's a nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, that's Krishnasya, what is it? Krishnavanyam tusha Krishnam, Sango Pangastra Parshudam, Yajñai Sankirtana Prayer, Yajanti Sumedasaha. So Yajanti Sumedasaha. It's a yajña, and those who are intelligent. Sumedasaha. Medasaha means intelligence. And Su means very much, very intelligent. Superman, like super intelligent. Sumedasaha. Someone who's super intelligent, they will perform this Sankirtan yajña. So of all the sacrifices, this yajña, the phal, this chanting of Hare Krishna should be performed. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Then we have tapaḥ. Tapaḥ means this transcendental austerity. Like 10 years ago, I was in New York City with Ram Roy Prabhu in the winter time. And we were doing every day Harinam Sankirtan in the street, minimum 6 hours a day. Then there was a blackout. There was a big storm, there was wind, and there were waves. The ocean came up and flooded the subway system. And there was the generators of electricity went under the water, and it exploded. And the power went out of New York City for 3 days. There was no power. It was winter time, so there was no heat, and there was no way to have hot water in the showers. So we were taking freezing cold showers and freezing, but every day we started going on Harinam 8 or 12 hours. We go from Greenwich Village all the way to Times Square and back. And that was the most ecstatic time because it was just tapasya. We were just doing austerity and serving the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Of course, for many of us, sometimes even chanting our 16 rounds is an austerity. Anyone ever experienced that? When, oh, when will that day be mine when I have a taste for chanting the holy name? And when the 16th round comes, it's not like, woo, finished. Now I can do any damn thing I want, you know? It becomes like, oh, I wish I had more rounds to chant. When will those days come? I don't know. But now it's an austerity sometimes just to chant the 16 rounds. But this, out of our love for Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's followers, we should perform that tapasya, that austerity of following our initiation rounds, 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra on beads, following 4 regulative principles, and doing our best to do something to advance this Hare Krishna movement. Srila Prabhupada said, you can never repay the debt to the spiritual master, but you should try. Prabhupada said, whatever I have done, you should also do. Prabhupada told one of his disciples, Adi Purush Prabhu in New York, he runs the Food for Life program in Tompkins Square Park now. He said to Adi Purush Prabhu that you should go where I have not gone. And Adi Purush Prabhu said, where is that place? And Srila Prabhupada said, the future. Right? So Prabhupada is not physically with us to our perception now. But this is the future, and we should take Srila Prabhupada's movement into the future. And Srila Prabhupada told him, wherever you go, treat people so nicely that they can understand how much Krishna loves them. Right? So wonderful instructions from Srila Prabhupada to Adi Purush Prabhu that we can all take to heart. We should go into the future, take this Krishna consciousness movement into the future, and wherever we go, we should treat people so nicely that they feel Krishna's love for them. Wonderful. Okay, so in the purport today, Srila Prabhupada encourages us to get free from material attachment. It's a very short purport. It's only one sentence. He says, can you move it up to the purport, please? Can we see the purport, please? Kripaya, purport, dekenge, dekiye, dhanyavad. So the purport says, Sabi, ekdam bahut badhiya, dhanyavad. To be elevated to the spiritual position, one should not act for any material gain. Oh, it's 2 sentences. Acts should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back to home, back to Godhead. So, Prabhupada made it very clear that we should not act for any material gain. So he uses the word unalloyed devotional service. When Srila Prabhupada first arrived in the Boston Harbor, 1966, September 17th, he went for a walk with Captain Pandya, the ship's captain. What was the name? Jaladuta. He walked on the Boston seafront, where I went to college, and he saw a big sign for unalloyed steel. Steel is a metal. You see in India all these advertisements for the strong steel bars, right? Unalloyed steel means only steel, nothing else. No copper, no lead, no water, No like newspaper torn up into little pieces mixed inside like they do in the milk sometimes. Nothing mixed inside. So similarly, nothing should be mixed within bhakti. It should just be pure devotional service with no material gain. No desire for karma, no desire for jnana. Rupa Goswami explains, Anyabhilasita shunyam jnana karma anavritam anakulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. That bhakti should be devoid of karma and jnana. So this is Prabhupada again stressing this point in the first sentence. In the second sentence, Prabhupada says, acts should be performed for the ultimate gain of being transferred to the spiritual kingdom, back to home, back to Godhead. So we want to be going back to the spiritual kingdom. There is an expression called Jivan Mukta, which means liberated even in this body, which is also something we should aspire for. If we can be fixed in the instructions of the spiritual master, Vyavasayatmika buddhir, ekeha kurnandana, bahushaka hiyanantascha, buddhayo vyavasayanam. If we can be fixed in the order of the spiritual master, to practice devotional service and to share Krishna consciousness with others, then we can experience the spiritual world even here in this lifetime by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his followers. Before I conclude, I want to just say a few words about Bira Chandra Goswami, the son of Nityananda Prabhu, because today is his disappearance day. So it's very important to glorify the great Vaishnavas and remember them on their appearance day and disappearance day. So Prabhupada mentions Bira Chandra Goswami in the Chaitanya, actually Krishnadas Kaviraj mentions him in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Lila 11.8. Shri Virabhadra Gosai Skanda Mahasaka Tanra Upasaka Yatra Asakya Taraleka. After Nityananda Prabhu, the greatest branch is Virabhadra Gosai. He also has innumerable branches and sub-branches. So Lord Nityananda's son, he had innumerable branches and sub-branches. So many devotees he made, so many disciples he had, and so many grand disciples he had. Just really expanding the Krishna consciousness movement. He was a contemporary of Narottam Das Thakur and so many other wonderful Vaishnavas at that time. Now, Lord Nityananda had 2 wives. Gentlemen, don't try this at home. He had 2 wives. Their names were Janava and Vasudha, 2 wives of Lord Nityananda. So Vasudha was Bira Chandra Goswami's mother. And Janava was Bira Chandra Goswami's guru. So there was an amazing devotee named Abhiram Thakur. So Abhiram Thakur was also an associate of Lord Nityananda. And Abhiram Thakur was so powerful that if he would offer an obeisances to a rock that was not a real shalogram, that rock would break. It would just explode. So, and if he offered obeisances to someone who was not a pure devotee, they would die. So a very dangerous friend to have if you're not a pure devotee. So Lord Nityananda and Vasudha, they had several children. And whenever they had a child, Abhiram Thakur would come to see, can I see your son? Nityananda, oh yes, Gosai, please see him. And Abhiram Thakur would offer his obeisances, and the child would die. And Nityananda would be in anxiety, and and the 2 wives, Vasudha, Janava, they would faint, and then they would bathe in the Ganga and out of sorrow. And that after another year or so, another child would come. Again, Abhiram Thakur would come, offer obeisances, again the child would die. Again the process. This happened several times. Then Birachandra was born. And Birachandra, he was a tiny little baby, and Nityananda did not invite our Abhiram Thakur to see this child. So Advaita Acharya, he said, why he's not inviting you? You're a very great senior Vaishnava. This festival is not complete without you. And then Birachandra was not holding anything against Nityananda for not inviting me. He said, I don't know why he's not inviting me. Anyway, Advaita Acharya said, you should go. So then our Abhiram Thakur, he said, yes, I'll go. Now Nityananda told all the boatmen on the, guess it was the Ganga, and don't let this Abhiram Thakur come across the river. So then Abhiram Thakur came to the boatman, and the boatman said, what's your name? And he said, I'm not going to tell you. And the boatman said, you must be Abhiram Thakur. And then the boatman poured water in his boat and sunk his boat so that it wouldn't move. And then all the other boatmen poured water in their boats, and all the boats sunk because they didn't want to make an offense to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, because he told them, no Abhiram Thakur. So then Abhiram Thakur took off his cloth and he threw it on the water and it floated. And he stood on the cloth and it went across the river, and he reached the other side. And he said, Nityananda, I want to see your son. Well, first, they fed him nicely, nice prasadam, big feast. He ate everything in the house. Okay, I want to see your son. Okay, see my son. If he's a pure devotee, if he's a manifestation of the Supreme Lord, he won't die. Okay. So then Abhiram Thakur offered his obeisances, and Birachandra lived. Haribo! So then he offered his obeisances again and again, just to make sure. But he lived. And then he picked up the little baby and he was dancing with the baby. And so Birachandra Goswami became a great, great Vaishnava, traveled all throughout India, meeting devotees and making disciples and preaching. And he had 3 principal disciples. And they were Gopijana Vallabha, Ramakrishna, and Ramachandra. And they were like his sons. Not biological, but in the mood, they were like his sons. So, just to conclude, we see that Birachandra Prabhu is setting the example. He's preaching unlimitedly. He's following this principle of not being attached to the fall, to the fruits of his activities. He's doing his... Oh, Shlok went up. 25. He's giving his phalam. He's giving his yajña. He's giving his dāna to the Supreme Lord. So these are the 3 principles we discussed today. Phalam for Krishna, fruits for Krishna, yajña for Krishna, tapa, austerities for Krishna, and dāna for Krishna, everything for Krishna. So thank you very much for your kind attention this afternoon. We're so grateful to all of you. We have a couple of minutes left. Are there any comments or any questions? Do we have a mic? Mic. Birachandra Goswami ki jai. Okay, Mike is here. If anyone has a comment or question, I'd be happy to try to answer or try to respond. Aapka prashna hai? Tika? Tatparya? Usually we see that if you wait long enough, someone will ask a question. Let's try. I'll count to 20. Yes, go ahead, Mataji. I'm sorry I'm having trouble hearing you. Take this mic.
It just seems hard to understand how Lord Nityananda and Visuddha Devi's sons, children, babies, could not be pure devotees. Obviously Virachandra was, but the others, they died when Abhiram, so just, yeah.
So the question is that how is it that Lord Nityananda and Visuddha Devi's previous sons were not pure devotees? Right? They were born of such exalted parents. We see even in Srila Prabhupada's example, he had 4, 5, 6 kids, right? And they were not all pure devotees. And one of them even brought ISKCON to court. You know, that this is my father's movement, this is my father's business, it's a family business. ISKCON's worth a few $1 million. I'm the son. ISKCON belongs to me. So that's not a nice thing to do. Prabhupada wouldn't have liked that. So even a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, the progeny are not always pure devotees. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, I would have sex hundreds of times if I thought I would have could bring pure devotee children into the world. So we offer our humble dandavats at the dust of the lotus feet of fathers and mothers who bring devotee children into the world and raise them in Krishna consciousness. It's quite a feat. It's a very valuable service. We're very grateful to all of you. And we see ultimately when we're dealing with Vishnu Tattva, like Lord Nityananda's Balaram. So all of the activities surrounding this situation is Leela. So without having them die, it wouldn't have been so exceptional that Bir Chandra lived. We wouldn't have had this cool story. So that's another perspective. Does that answer your question? Very good. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments? Anything? Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions. Ready? What chapter were we reading today? 17, okay, good. And what is the title of the chapter? Divisions of Faith. Okay, good. And we talked about earlier in the chapter different elements that were in the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of ignorance. Actually, Krishna discusses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different topics and analyzes them according to these 3 modes. Can anyone give one of these 5 topics? Something in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. Food, yes. Excellent. Or? Charity, good. Penance, good. Sacrifice, good. Austerity, good. I think we covered them all. Very good. Okay, what does Om mean? Om means what? Yes, good. Impersonal representation of Supreme Lord. Thank you. What does Tat mean? Tat. Om Tat Sat. Tat. Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Right? Tat. Tat means without desire for fruit of activity. Sorry, that's my fault. I should have put that point across better. Okay, and so one thing, I forgot to share something. We talked about sacrifice today, penance, and charity. So charity, what is the topmost charity? In Kali Yuga, Nam Dan, giving the holy name. So whenever you see the beggars on the street and they say, give me some money, and you say, take prasadam, and they say, no, I don't want prasadam, then you should give them Nam Dan. What's Nam Dan? Okay, good. Okay, very good. So, how many wives did Lord Nityananda have? 2. What were their names? And Vasudha. And did they have a son? They had, Bir Chandra was their son. Who was Abhiram Thakur? He was an associate of Lord Nityananda. And what would happen if Abhiram Thakur paid obeisances to a stone? It broke. Yeah, explode. What would happen if Abhiram Thakur offered obeisances to someone who's not a pure devotee? They would die. And what happened when he offers obeisances to Bir Chandra Goswami? He lived. Jai. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hare Hare Bol. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.